Hi, our amazing host, Miss Anastasia. Hi.
All right, hello, beautiful people. How are y'all enjoying your time? Woo! Come on now, y'all just ate, y'all done network, y'all got some notes already. How are you enjoying your time? Okay. My name is Anastasia Jackson. I am the CEO and co-founder of WeNite Incorporated. We're a tech company. But today I am your moderator for this lovely media and culture panel. I will allow these lovely panelists to introduce themselves, starting with Donovan, then Nicole, and then DJ Flo.
How you doing? My name is Donovan Woodberry. I'm from South Carolina. I'm the founder of MelaninCon, the Posh Standard, a celebration of us in Park Avenue Suits. I'm happy to be here.
Woo!
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nicole Tinson. I'm the founder and CEO of HBCU 20 by 20 and the application, so extremely excited to be here today.
Good afternoon. I'm the founder of Strong Men Overcome Obstacles Through Our Work. It's a nonprofit here at Morgan State University, an all-male organization. We have Morgan State, Temple, Coppin State as well. Also the official DJ for Meek Mill, Shy Glizzy on the radio here at 92Q, 92.3 FM.
All right, so they're being very humble. I want y'all to know that you guys are sitting in front of some legends and pioneers in their field. But today, since we are talking about the future of media and culture, I actually want to start in the past, then we're going to bring it to the present, and then go into the future so you guys can lead with the innovative mindset, okay? So first question, do y'all have a mic? Okay. Okay, I'll just pass one. First question, how has the HBCU community impacted who you are and the platform you have created?
So me going to Morgan State University, I was able to see a bunch of media entities come to the campus, like BT came to our campus while we were there, Russell Simmons came to the campus while we were there, and a plethora of other people. And me being able to see that, I knew that my dream was reachable, and I was able to pursue radio, brand partnerships, along with just being on different TV shows and different networks. So HBCUs allowed me to realize that it was reachable, and I think the first step is knowing that you could do it and giving you that confidence, and then you can go out there and actually go achieve it. So that's what it did for me.
You know, just to echo off of your point, I think that was the same thing I discovered with my HBCU, is it gave me the confidence that I didn't know that I did not have. So I'm from South Central Los Angeles, grew up in the hood, didn't have access to much. My mother was a single mother. She had 2 sets of twins. My older brother was killed in a drive-by shooting. The works, everything you can think about. So my high school counselor told me college wasn't for me. I remember her giving field trip slips to kids to go visit Berkeley, UCLA, USC, and her being like, you can go look at like one of the occupational schools. And it was an HBCU that took a chance on me, and I just needed that chance. Once I got in the door, I was like, I can figure everything out. And they provided me with that support, and that has led me and propelled me to where I am today.
I'm not from the DMV community. I actually went to school in Kentucky at the University of Louisville. So everything I know about HBCUs is when I moved up here in 2017. And my brand, my businesses, and everything I do would not be anything without the students at Howard that put me in rooms that I didn't even know I needed to be in. And I know around about 2018, I had lost my job that moved me to the DMV. And I was homeless for like a couple hours because I'm actually the Dukes, and Z, they provided me a place to stay for the next year till I got back on my feet. And if it wasn't for them, all the things that I accomplished in the DMV, I would have not, because I was going straight back to Kentucky where rent made sense. I'm just appreciative.
That seems to be the main theme. Like when you're talking about the HBCU community, we really
all a family and a network, and it's like iron sharpens iron, right? So we all sharpen each other. My second question is, in your journey of building your respective empires, what has it been like navigating through the challenges and opportunities, and what valuable lessons have you learned along the way?
At it. It's going back and forth. Man. It's a roller coaster. Anybody who's doing anything, especially entrepreneurial, like, you're gonna have your ups and downs. I have a saying that I tell myself: we never get too high on our wins, we never get too low on our lows. You stay nice and even. That way you're not too cocky, you don't trick yourself out your spot, and you don't lose your confidence to the point that you don't want to pursue and go forward. And within entertainment, it's a very volatile business. I say it's a contact sport. You're gonna need help. So there's been times I've been depressed, just wanting to do things and feeling like I deserve certain opportunities, didn't receive them. And had to understand patience and timing, and knowing that sometimes if you receive the blessing too early, you may not be prepared for it, and you might squash that relationship or mess up that opportunity. So I had to really learn patience, and navigating through that with your mental health and having aspirations and goals and wanting to do so much in this world, man. It's taught me a large pill of humility, and it's helped me grow as a person, 100%. And I tell anybody in this room, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Take your time, give yourself grace. You are enough. You are doing the work, and as long as you stay on the track, you have your opportunity to cross that finish line. Just stay on the track. I don't care if you have to cry, walk, crawl, backflip. I don't care what you have to do in order to cross that goal. Do it, and you'll be fine.
I think that. Okay, so.
All right. No, it's not giving me the energy that DJ Flo just had. Being a hater.
We just don't work with Anastasia's mic. I think that it's so nuanced being a Black woman, being an entrepreneur, being a mom, being a wife. There is so many different layers. Being Black and not being taken seriously, right? So I've been doing this for 7 years. We're a $1 million organization. We've placed more than 7,000 people into jobs and internships, and people will still question everything about the work that we do, right? I've been in rooms where people are just, here you go, give it to them. And I talk about it just being someone who's been able to go to an HBCU and being able to go to an Ivy League. I know the stark differences. I know how handouts are given to people of other communities, and it's not always the same for me. So there's that. Being a Black woman, people have played in my face. I remember a company wanted to partner with us. They had just received $100 million in investment for their company, and they literally told me that they could pay us in clout. So clout, C-L-O-U-T, right? Clout, we can put you on. And I'm like, I've made the Forbes 30 under 30 list. What more could you do to put me on? You can't give me clout. So you have people playing in your face. As a mom, I get discriminated against a lot, right? So I have to face that. Whatever happens during business, my child also feels it. So while I'm pregnant, if someone's saying something out of order, physiologically I'm feeling that and he feels it. I'll give you another example. Last week I went to the bank. I have a big issue with the bank. We go in cash checks or deposit checks, and they question every single time, where did you get this money from? Why do you have this amount of money? So when you think about being a successful Black entrepreneur, right, and you're being discriminated against, I've had bank tellers say, recite your debit card number. It's like we're in the poll tax era, right? So facing that kind of discrimination, explaining that to my husband and my baby hearing that and him crying and balling up his fist because he can tell that mommy just got played, right? So you think about like the impacts on that as a wife. Like we have this connotation that we separate work from home life, but the reality is we all bring it home, right? Whether you're in school, whether you're working, whether you're an entrepreneur, that comes back to home with you. You're thinking about it all the time. So I'm in bed and I'm thinking about what I gotta do tomorrow or the next week or the next month. And you know, like all of that, those are obstacles that you face, and it's oftentimes we don't talk about that, especially as Black entrepreneurs. But the more we talk about it, the better we become. And the last thing that you talked about it is like the depression piece. Like mental health is so important. They will tear you down as a Black entrepreneur. Like that's like their entire goal is like, they don't want you to win. Look at what happened in Tulsa. The Tulsa massacre happened for a reason, right? So it's so important to take care of your mental health. I know we don't like to talk about therapy, but go to therapy. It's like the best thing that happened to me. Is the only reason why our organization continues to grow and thrive, and we can tell what's going to happen 10 years from now because we planned it out, because we're in a healthy state of mind to do that. So I just, you know, I think there's a lot of challenges that I know that I faced in like this close to 7, actually 10-year journey of being an entrepreneur.
I always tell people that even when I had nothing, when I lost everything, I had the brand that was a blog that I built back then. Everything I started with started as a blog, and it blew way bigger than I could ever even imagine it would blow. And I just get so much motivation by everything that I built and the amount of people that I touch on a weekly basis with my messages. One of my platforms is the Pop Standard, which is a online magazine platform that's don't talk about any gossip, just talk about everything positive in the community. And I went from like one blog hit to now reach millions of people every week with the same message, with the same goals in mind. And I'm a little different because I'm a full-time entrepreneur, like ×3, and I'm a full-time employee and I work. So trying to keep myself level-headed while I go to this job where I have to shrink myself every day to be around people, helping them do their dream, but then I have to go home and find another 8 to 12 hours to pour into my bread. And for me, therapy was crazy important because, again, I go back to when I lost everything. That was like a pivotal point for me in the DMV. And I remember I was like almost to the point of suicide. And I'm still posting every day to like my platforms, hearing all this positive messages from strangers I'd never see, that don't know any battle I'm dealing with at that time frame. And I owe it to just my creation. A lot of people would tell you just to take that leap and be a full-time entrepreneur. No, not to have a plan. Entrepreneurship taught me the importance of help. I'm here with my publicist, Deja, which is one of the first people I allowed into all the craziness that I have in my business. And navigating through the DMV and through America, I would say, I'm realizing that my dream only was as big as I could do myself. Now the level that my dream is at requires help, 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 help. And as Black people, as Black entrepreneurs, you think you can do everything. I don't need a graphic designer, I'm gonna do it myself. I don't need a publicist, I'm gonna do it myself. I don't need marketing, I can do it myself. And you're just holding yourself back. So making sure you stress to yourself. I'm in therapy about it, allowing people to help you with what you have going on, because God gave you that vision, but it's only going to go as big as you allow the village that God put in your life to help it grow.
That was some really great answers. I want to kind of put a stat. Go, yes, clap it up. Clap it up. Yes. I want to put a stat behind what you said. Over 90% of Black businesses are actually solopreneurs. So like really put that in your mind. Like a lot of people within our community are doing it by themselves and working multiple jobs on top of it, right? So something else that's important about what you three just said is we don't talk about this side of entrepreneurship a lot. We talk about the glamorized side, you know, how much funding you got, all these different opportunities, but we don't talk about the personal journey that it requires of you, right? So I thank y'all for your vulnerability. I have a question specific to DJ Flo. With your organization Smooth, how are you pushing Black men to be better individuals, and how are you instilling a sense of purpose and resilience in them? I don't know, where do you begin?
Thank you for the question. In 2009, when I was at Morgan, at the time, all the Greek organizations, they got kicked off the yard for some reason. They got kicked off the yard, so there was no place for Black men to go and just fellowship. We had things in the past like TTC, we had things like Morgan Mile, but they also got kicked off the yard. And if you're a freshman, you can't be Greek anyway because you need a certain amount of credits in order to pledge. So I learned the stat, it was like Morgan had a retention of Black men like 26%. So like 26% of Black men were getting to their sophomore year, and that's either through financial, academic, or behavioral issues. And I happened to fall into that, and I had to realize I didn't have a mentor at the time. There was nobody just kind of like guiding me on what to do and how to navigate, even dealing with women on campus, to speak frankly, to just being a solid young Black man. So I wanted to create something. And I created Smooth, and our main mission is to get men through college and get them prepared for the real world. So we do things like mock interviews, we get guys suits, we get them prepared. Within the organization, you know how to run a business, of course. They put on events, they do a bunch of community service, and we're getting them prepared, honestly, just to be solid men. That's the basic foundation of the organization. I want to build leaders and builders, not people who are taken away. I want men who care about the community, men who care about protecting women, men who just want to give back and just want to do positive things. I don't care if you get a 9 to 5, you don't have to be an entrepreneur. In my organization, we have all walks of life. We have men who go on and we have a guy right now who's the vice president of 40 Acres and a Mule, all the way to people who still work at like Walmart. And as long as the core value is the same as far as just being a solid Black man and wanting to care for your community and take care of your family, that's all I really care and that's all I welcome. So even if you're not on campus and you're off campus doing amazing things, more than welcome to come talk to my guys. Any men in here, more than welcome to come talk to my guys, even if you're not a part of it and you just want to connect with some guys who look like you around your age group, you can still come connect with my guys. Like I said, we're at Morgan, Coppin State, and Temple University in Philadelphia. But that's what we do. So through programming, through community service, through conversations, through bridging the gap. So we're 13 years in. So of course, me being the oldest member, I'm 35, we're still young, relatively young. And my guys are able to just call, they can call whoever they want. They have access to whoever. We have guys on campus who can call lawyers and get their internship hours. We have guys who can call me and hit the road with me. We have guys, if they want to be in film, call the vice president of 40 Acres and a Mule. We have doctors now, so anybody who needs some type of experience, they now have their own like web of network. And I'm creating my own little web of Black men who just want to help each other. And like I said, we're still relatively young. I'm excited to see what it looks like when I'm 70. And we're 40 years in, and the web is even bigger for these guys. So yeah, that's what we're doing right now.
Wow. So for Donovan, with you coming up with MelaninCon, how are you utilizing that platform to build and uplift Black people across the world?
Like I said, I also created a platform called The Pot Sterler, and that's primarily like my marketing and branding button to everything that I need. Because that message is celebrated Black excellence. Everything I do as a subject is based on Black excellence. MelaninCon is, to me, I felt like as Black people, people of color, we needed a national meeting to where we could talk about the things within the Black community without all the fluff and all the extra stuff. So like MelaninCon is literally a place for everybody. We have business conversations, we have mental health conversations, we have a fireside chat talking about bridging the gap between that we face with the youth to try to get them on the straight and narrow, especially in DC where crime is so high. We just need to talk about important stuff without the gossip and entertainment that we're forced to deal with on the regular. With MelaninCon, the success of it, this is the second year. Last year in 2023, we was able to provide at least 300 to 400 people in Northeast meals, hot meals for that day, and it was hand-cooked meals. We have a scholarship in honor of my friend that passed away, and she's a member of Delta Sigma Theta and a graduate from UDC. We have a scholarship for inspiring social workers based off her name. Later this year, we want to announce that we're going to provide free therapy sessions for Black and brown people, 5 to 8 right now, starting out. Various different things that we are actively involved in the community, that we choose to host our events and not just flying city to city to put on these events where the money don't go back into the people that's showing up to the events. So I have a lot planned.
I told y'all sit in front of legends and pioneers in their industries. So Nicole, I actually want to talk about HBCU 20 times 20. Support, how you support HBCU students in preparing for job opportunities with partner companies, and like what tools or programs are available to help these students develop necessary skills and readiness for these jobs.
So thank you for that question. I always like to just provide context. I think I talked about it a little bit earlier, where you see like the red carpet being rolled out. You have these big consulting firms coming to Yale. Literally, like the students don't even really got an interview. They just have to say they're interested. And I knew that that wasn't the case at my HBCU. So I went to Dillard from 2008 to 2014. Wait, does that make sense? 2010 to 2014. In those 4 years, I struggled with finding opportunities. Every opportunity I got, I had to go above and beyond to get. And when I saw that the students at Yale didn't have to do that, and that like it was literally just like, I'm interested, sign me up, I knew that there was a problem. There's an access gap, there's an opportunity gap. Obviously, there's some nepotism at play, which sheds light on the system that's already been in existence. We're not really supposed to win, right? And HBCU 20 by 20 started as a campaign to get 20,000 people jobs by 2020. So that's where the 20 by 20 comes from. And as we started to grow, we realized that it wasn't easy just to say, okay, hire these people from Dillard that are talented and are eager, but we realized that we also had some more work that we needed to do. So we have fellowship programs. So for example, we have our Amgen Biotech Fellowship for students who are interested in engineering and biology. That application is open right now, by the way, where they're able to connect with global leaders to help them get prepared for a career in biotech. We have our Adobe and HBCU 20 by 20 Fellowship for students who are interested in software engineering and careers in tech and design. That application is also open right now, and Adobe's one of and these are companies that have partnered with us year over year because they're able to convert students that are in our fellowship programs into actual hires, which is also something that's incredibly important to us. So we have our fellowship programs. US Bank starts next week, where sophomores who are interested in finance have their leg up. You know, they have that foot in the door where they're ready for an internship once they're finished with the program, which is unheard of because most people hire interns during their junior year. So we're able to break down barriers that way, like through our fellowship programs. We have a robust mock interview program as well, where we partner with the biggest companies in the world and just say, hey, just provide students with an opportunity to share their experience and what they are able to do through an interview. And what you'll find is a lot of our partners will end up hiring those students in the mock interview, like, wow, this person is really, really great. I want them on our team. And we see that with every single mock interview program that we have, and those happen every single week. So we have U.S. Mint, so the Department of Treasury, SLAC, NASA, where you're able to break down the walls that way. And just the last program is our new one, is the application where we're providing free college applications to high school students. So I don't know if you all, when you applied to college, had to budget, like, where am I going to spend this $50 and that $50? Everyone doesn't have it like that to spend thousands of dollars to apply to colleges in hopes of maybe getting accepted. So we're honored to partner with universities. So like Benedict, UBC, I know that you just mentioned that, USC, the University of Southern California, is one of our newest partners that we're getting ready to announce. But it's an excellent opportunity for students just to apply to college for free. Like you don't lose anything. You either get in, you don't get in, and from there we're able to provide additional resources as well. So those are our big 3 programs that we have. We do a lot of things, go to HBCUs, visit. We have an event with the Chicago Bears next week at their headquarters. So honored to have like the first Black president of the Chicago Bears in attendance at that event. It's really huge. So we're honored to do a lot of the work that we do.
I'm over here getting inspired. Okay, so let's go ahead and go into the future of media and culture. How do you see HBCU media evolving in the coming years in terms of like content and the methods of display? Especially now that OpenAI came out with, what was it, Sora?
To me, honestly, just speaking, because I only speak transparently, I feel like HBCUs have always been the leaders as far as when it comes to media. When you look out into the world and see everybody who's been successful or who's at the top of their game, most likely they came from an HBCU. Also, from the beginning of time, we have always been the people that people look forward to for what was culturally cool and what was happening, who to target to. You talk to any company, it doesn't matter if it's music, tech, or any type of company selling a brand, they're like, yo, them HBCU kids, what do they like? What do we have to do to connect with them? That's who we want to sell to. So HBCUs have always been the leaders of this thing. So in the future, I think it's just going to continue to, we have like the most creative pool of people in the world. We have young Black people who are forward thinkers, visionaries, and when you see these viral sensations happening, to me it's always HBCU grad or alum or current student. As you can see from the panel, people put this stuff together, the people who are in here. Some of my, if I can think, like, when you think of HBCU buzz, my man Luke Lawal, Jay Murphy, like everybody just comes from the HBCUs. When you think of Lance Grosses, the Taraji P. Hensons, the Kamala Harris, or you think of I'm talking about, if you think at any level, they've come from HBCU, has been the graduate of it. So I think we're just gonna continue doing what we're doing in the future. Somebody in here or abroad on the campus is thinking of something amazing. And we're just going to continue doing what we've already been doing. Hopefully we get credit in the future, because that's been happening for a long time. The ideas have been coming from our campuses, and we necessarily don't receive that credit. So hopefully that's what changes. So we're doing the same thing, but getting credit and getting compensated for it. So that's the key. I think we're already doing the work. It's just time for us to get compensated, get credit for it. I think we're just gonna continue doing what we've already been doing. Like, we've been running this thing for a long time. And you can look at any department. I don't know if y'all know, one right now, Kamala Harris is like #1 assistant. He's viral every day. He has like the long hair, a Black guy, he's all over the internet. His name is Brian Stewart. Like, he's from Oregon, you feel me? Like, it's one of my members of Smooth. So we have the person who's in charge of funding for Walmart, like the #1 guy. His name is Dr. Marvin Carr. He went to Morgan. We have the #1 vegan burger in the world. His name is Dwight Michael. He's from Morgan. He went on Shark Tank, got $300 million from Mark Cuban. He went to Morgan. So it's like, I got to big up my university, of course. There's a lot of good people around. I got to talk about mine. So it's so many beautiful things happening culturally in the world that's coming from HBCUs. It's just time for us to get our credit and get our money. That's all at this point.
I think just to echo your point, I think that for me, the night that Spike Lee and Ruth E. Carter won the Oscars the same day is the day that Spike Lee ran to Samuel L. Jackson and literally jumped in his arms. Like, that is like an iconic moment. That for me was recognizing how important HBCUs are in not only the media, but in creation and being successful. Ruth E. Carter, for those of you who don't know, was the designer for Black Panther. So she created like the Black Panther suit, all of that, and beyond that has done a lot of work over the years. So to see that moment where they had been working, and she used to work for 40 Acres and a Mule with Spike Lee. So 20, 30, 40 years in the game and finally being recognized for their work, much to what you're saying, it's the recognition piece that we've been doing the work. We know the Taraji P. Hensons, we know the Commons and Erica Badu's and E40s and everyone else who has gone to an HBCU and contributed to the media in some way, shape, or form. But I think that for me, that moment culminated and was a reminder to the world that, like, you know, HBCUs matter. And beyond HBCUs matter, and they create. Like we're you know, there's a quote from someone named Melissa. It's the world doesn't move without Black creativity, right? So a lot of what we see in the world is from a creative standpoint. I looked at Donovan's ring and thought about my experience when I went to Egypt and looked at the pyramids and thought about the stone hinges in Greece and how, like, they often get compared. And in my mind, I'm like, there is no comparison between the pyramids of Gaza and Cairo, Egypt, and the Stonehenges somewhere in the backwoods in Europe. And you know, for me, like, that stark comparison speaks volumes to how often our talent and what we're able to contribute kind of gets downplayed. So, you know, I'm really optimistic about what HBCUs do to contribute to the larger world and what we're able to do. And also The Color Purple, like, you know, produced by Oprah Winfrey. It was a brilliant movie. If you haven't seen it, go see the new version. I haven't seen the old version, but go see the new version. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And yeah, that's all I gotta say about that.
I think with it being like the age of social media, HBCU has more eyes and things on everything that's going on at the different campuses. I think now it's going to be a push to put their sports on prime time, different accolades and things on prime time, like getting them the real attention that they need to get recognized and all this thing. Because a lot of times people just don't know. They don't know that that person came from HBCU. But now with social media, as soon as somebody wins something, it's going to be on Watch the Yard, HBCU Buzz, all these different platforms instantly. So now you know. So I just think this new age is going to be more eyes and everything on it.
More exposure and getting paid for the creativity and being the trailblazer we already are.
And David E. Talbot too, I forgot. David E. Talbot went to Morgan and he shot the movies like Jingle, The Jingle Gun, Almost Christmas. He went to Morgan too. Yeah. So Huston.
All right, before I ask this last question, I want everyone in the audience to, if you have a question that you want to ask, get it prepared, because then I'm going to turn it over to you for these last final minutes. Okay, so last question. How can we use media to educate others about the true value and impact of HBCUs in order to challenge and dispel their misconceptions?
I think just continue what we're doing. Once again, I think we're doing a good job, and people are being more receptive. A lot of companies, like I said, are seeing the values of these campuses, like we saw with the NBA, now incorporating the HBCU game within their All-Star Weekend activities. The BET Awards are now doing a HBCU honoring thing where they honor like 3 people every awards. I think people are starting to see the value of it, and as more time goes on and more people become more successful from HBCUs, we'll see more and more recognition. But also, you know, you guys on campus, any filmmakers, don't be fearful of doing documentaries of people who came to your school. Sometimes it can be discouraging of reaching out to someone who did amazing things, but I say shoot that shot. Be a historian of your campus. I'm a historian. I know I can tell you everybody's stuff. I actually just YouTube did a piece on me, and they were like, yo, where you want to do it at? Like, we'll fly you anywhere in the world to do this interview. And I was like, nah, you ain't got to fly me nowhere. We going to Morgan. Y'all going to have to fly to Baltimore. So we did it on campus. So it's like things like that. Any opportunities that you have, bring them back to your grassroots. I try my hardest to do that. Highlight people, you know, who are in my ecosystem of Morgan. Because I really want to put Morgan on the map. I will also say, if you're looking for content, you can start, like, you have like your campus is kind of like your playground where you could try things. That's your pool of people who will support you for a long time. So even if you have a TikTok and you went to people who are like elder statesmen, you're like, you'll give some advice of the younger you, and you're just doing stories on your campuses, whatever. Like, use your campus as much as you can. You have so many ideals, consumers, future partners, future investors. I said we just got to do a better job of that. And then you can travel. Like she said, I'm jealous because she said she went to 67 HBCUs, and I actually would love to do that one day. I said, no more. We'll do that. So I'm jealous of that. So I would say, yeah, take advantage of your different campuses, your networks. Tell your stories. Don't be fearful. If you're a filmmaker, take that camera on the road. Get as many stories as possible. If you write books, try to write as much. Spread the word. Don't be scared to let people know that you came from HBCU. The world has to know that we can compete with everybody in the world. It doesn't matter where you put us at, especially, you know, my campus. We compete with everybody. So don't be scared. Say it loud and proud, you know, that you went to a HBCU and tell your story.
I think just to echo that point, the most important thing is really just being that brand ambassador for your university. So in whatever you do, I don't mean to put all the pressure on you, but, you know, pressure. Whatever HBCU you go to, rep it well. When you step into the workforce, rep it well. If you're starting a business, your university's like best example of what's possible. So really showing up and showing out as a person from your HBCU truly matters. I know this is really cliche, but also give back to your HBCUs. So oftentimes we go, okay, I'll give back in a couple of years, but honestly that $2 or $5 a month, or, you know, even if it's a year, matters. And that, you know, we talk about like the misconceptions and how HBCUs can't expand. It is so hard for HBCUs to get federal funding from these large foundations if they can't prove that the alumni care about their HBCU. So, you know, you'll see HBCUs that have like a 20% alumni giving rate, some even with 15%. And it literally says that your alumni don't care about your university, so why should we care about your university? And it leads into infrastructure problems, and it leads into curriculum not being as developed so students can go into the real world and be successful. So giving back to your university also matters, and you can do it as a student. Like I said, even if it's just $1, it goes a long way. So being a brand ambassador and giving back to your university.
I think with anything, it's about the journalism behind your experiences. With my platform, we started as a blog, just blogging about men and women fashion. But then the Trayvon Martin things happened, and I realized that people really just don't know about these different laws that protect cops, or these different laws you have to be held accountable for that you just may not know. So with my platform, you came for the fashion, but then you find out that we was talking about actual real stuff. And now you stuck. With our people, you got to be real strategic with how you give it the information, because our people will get turned off real quick if they get offended quick. So making sure you put importance on your journalism.
Alrighty, thank y'all so much for all your lovely insights. Are there any questions from the audience? Raise your hand. Do we have one question? Okay.
Two questions.
Only two? Okay. Can you reject?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being on this panel. I wanted to know, when you all first started your different platforms and initiatives, what were some of your biggest obstacles and setbacks, and how did you overcome them?
When I first started, biggest setback was funding. That was one of the biggest things I had to overcome was funding. I say the biggest thing for me was, I'm a hustler. So I found ways to make money and get creative with it. So I've done fundraisers, thrown parties. That was my biggest way of making money. I even became a DJ to make money to fund my nonprofit. Because Walter would tell you, I would take all my money from DJing a night on club, and then I come back and buy the T-shirts that we need, fund the events that we had. I'll be dead broke, I ain't gonna lie. I invested all my money and all my resources into what I was doing, and I kept the main thing. A lot of times we're so creative and so good at 1,000 things that we can't focus on one thing. So it's like, if that's your one thing, bro, really focus and own in on that thing, and then once that becomes tight, now it becomes a rolling system. I can't even tell you what these guys are doing these days. The org is just running on its own, and I'm able to focus on other things. So for me, it was funding, and I just got on my grind, bro. I just got real creative on how to fundraise, and that's what I did.
I think that I was working at an organization, and a lot of the work that I do is aligned with my own personal missions and values. And I was working at this organization, and it was like the worst environment possible. It was this hip-hop organization. Everybody was disrespectful that worked there. I had to call my husband and be like, this man is disrespecting me. He pulled up and talked to him respectfully. He became disrespectful, called me out of my name. My husband pulled up, and it wasn't as kind that time. And at that moment, I was like, this isn't worth my sanity and my health. And I was like, I would rather work for myself and figure it out than to continue to put myself in positions where I have to work for someone else and they're disrespectful and rude and all these other things, and it doesn't align with what my purpose in life is. So I was mad broke. I was broke. When I say broke, I was broke. Like eviction notices, car repossessed, people don't talk about that, right? So like the works, being homeless, like, and figuring it out. But I think that because I was so passionate about what I was doing, I was like, as long as all these other people are getting jobs and they're winning and they're buying houses, I know that what's for me will come, and it has come. Like I said, like we're $1 million organization now. Like we're not hurting anymore. Like I'm not hurting anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I think that all of that plays a huge role. So just thinking about that, those are the obstacles, but now we win, baby.
With me, just like them, it's always funding. You're always hustling for funding. But to be more real and honest, with me, when I was starting my platforms, it's about confidence. Confidence that I'm as good as I need to be without anything extra. When I was starting my media platform, all this started me just dressing up on campus and becoming a model. Like at that time, I was an influencer before the influencers. Having the confidence to take pictures and then having the confidence to post. And if I never did that, I wouldn't have anything that I have now, because those pictures went viral. It was able to get more views for my blog, even like with my nonprofit. Hustling for the funding and things of that nature, confidence in my staff, confidence in myself, confidence in something as simple as my pitch day. Or I have this conversation all the time, like confidence in saying a price and knowing that I can get that price without lowering myself down, because I've been doing it so long to where I'm not doing it anymore. So having the confidence to say, it's this price, you can pay it or you can leave it. And walking away. So my biggest hustle was confidence.
Thank you guys so much.
Listen, let's give this panel a hand, please. This was amazing. Thank you all for our panelists. Huge appreciation. Huge shout out to Miss Anastasia for hosting. Howard alum. Working on one of the biggest blockchain companies. There we go. Yeah, there we go. She took that one. She took that one. All right, look, what we got coming up next is in 15 minutes. Our next panel is starting, which is Money Talks. Be here, be here, be here. Got a couple of exited founders that are going to be talking about money, talking about how to get it, how to raise it, how to all of the good stuff. So that is going to be a really good talk happening simultaneously as a workshop on the other side for Microsoft and Google, breaking into big tech, breaking into big tech. So those are the two things happening in 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Thank you all for your time. HBCU students, please see our government partners up on the second floor. They are itching and excited to give away all the opportunities for internships. Some of them paid internships. Some of them come with housing, entry-level job opportunities. Like, go holler at the people on the second floor. Even if you know somebody that's an HBCU student that may be looking, grab some information for them. Also, we have SIFMA on this level, Security Industry Financial Markets Association. They represent pretty much every bank in the country. And they're all